everybody. Welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots, and we're in 1998. This is the year that I got back into wrestling, and I never left, much to my personal detriment. But we're gonna get into that in a second, But first, before we get into the exciting year of 1998, we got to close out the unexciting, miserable year of 2025. Last week, John Cena, who said never give up, has gave up like a bitch. And then yesterday went on Cody Rhodes' podcast and told everyone how stupid we were, that we didn't like his stupid fucking horrible retirement run. Um, I wonder if Bischoff wishes he could have had like Hogan and Sting do an interview where they say how dumb you are for not liking Starcade '97, and not like because that would have shut down the business back then. But the way they get we're gonna get into it, but the way they gaslight the audience now, like they do shit and they do bullshit, and then they have a podcast where they tell you how dumb you are for not liking their bullshit is just fucking next level. First of all, let's go down the line. Kyle, what did you think of John Cena's whole retirement week? What did you think of it, Kyle?
Well, the retirement week, there was a lot of questions and not a lot of strong answers. Just John Cena being John Cena, not really answering a question correctly, except for the Joe
Mhm.
Rogan. Like, it's the first time I listened to the Joe Rogan podcast,
Okay.
and I was not a fan. I mean, I wasn't a fan before, but it was probably the most like calm John Cena was. He had his hat backwards, he had a t-shirt on. So he was like a little more clear with his answers, but it still wasn't much. The actual match itself, I enjoyed the match. The tap out, I get, but just because you get something and just because you like this is the vision, this is the idea, doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna land. I think John Cena was just one of those wrestlers, one of those superstars, as they like to say, that people did not want that ending for. And you could tell by when the crowd reacted, they did not want that. They didn't want that ending, even if John wanted them himself. I think they wanted more of a Sting ending, that he earned
Hmm.
it, that he gets that win, he rides off into the sunset. People wanted that happy ending. And even though that wasn't John's vision and the WWE's vision, sometimes you can and then Triple H coming out afterwards only made it worse because it's like the divide of like you're immediately out of the story and now you're back to being like, oh, the writer did this. This is the guy who wrote all of it. It'd be like
Hmm.
right after in like Endgame, like right spoilers for anyone who doesn't watch the Avengers. If Iron Man dies and then you see Feige like walk, he's at the funeral scene. You're like, what are you doing here? Like the show's why are you here? But as Kevin Feige, the director. So I just don't think it landed the way they wanted it to. I would have preferred him to go out on top as a win. Gunther would have been fine. I know they think they have this plan to like make Gunther, I guess, the next big thing, and we'll see if it pays off. But I don't know. I don't know if it will.
Critique your thoughts, and I'll go into more of mine.
On the whole, I mean, the whole press tour week, it was interesting because at one point there was this controversy of, "Hey, we're gonna open the show. Yeah, it does. This is not about me. We're not even gonna headline the show." And I'm like, I I don't feel how the other matches would be able to top that moment. So if you're gonna go out, you need to be the last match. So the whole week was muddled with what will happen, is it going to close. So on the very least, I'm glad it closed the show because nothing else could have topped it. You know, the match itself was fine. I just felt that the build could have been better, and we'll obviously get into that as we talk about more detail. But yeah, like I felt like there was very little build to this. I think if we were going to go with Gunther, it kind of makes sense from a hey, John's an American and Gunther's his foreign heel, but they really didn't play up any of that they do with some of the other foreign heels that John has went up against. So, because again, there was no promo battle. I think that was the main thing I was disappointed in. Like, okay, you're going to face Gunther. You had time to plan this. You could have done some sort of angle where maybe he interrupts. You know, maybe he could have interfered in the Intercontinental match and he cost John the title with Dominic, and that could have led, to the final match. I just think they could have done more to build. And then in terms of the tap out, I mean, yeah, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to build this moment for Gunther, but again, Gunther's already a champion. I think if you were going to do a tap out loss and you're going to build this thing of he never taps and he finally taps, I think like a younger superstar like a Oba Femi could have benefited from this more than somebody who's already a champion. But I did like the thing on Monday on Raw where Gunther comes out and he gets the sea of booze and he's playing it up and like you guys have said, let's see where it goes with it. I don't know how much Gunther's going to need it because he was already kind of a heel, maybe with a little bit of face reactions, but now he's going to get full heel reactions. I just think a younger superstar could have benefited from this more than Gunther.
I agree. The thing about it is that Gunther is almost 40.
Yeah.
So how many years is he going to get out of this? Um, you have him retire Brock Lesnar, fine. You have him retire AJ Styles. He is getting so you're gonna get like maybe like 10 years out of this. And then I guess I don't know, they take so long to push somebody, Jevon Evans can retire him in 15 years. They can finally give that fucking guy a push because they take so fucking long to push people now. I thought, yeah, someone younger. Ultimately, I think this entire year was a complete and total failure. I think everything John Cena did was horrible. I think he should be embarrassed. He should be ashamed. And you can go on podcasts and mansplain till the cows come home. This was a horrible year. It diminished his career to me. Every single thing he did diminished his career. It disqualified him from the GOAT status. And I think ultimately at the end, people want him to win. You know, WWE. The time honored tradition. I saw people going on the time honored when you leave a territory, you got to put somebody over. Okay, this guy's not leaving for AEW, although he fucking should after this awful year. This guy's not leaving for TNA. This guy's retiring to become like he's going to become now like the Bill Watts. That's what I assume. Like the old guy that he's going to become like the old cowboy that comes out for WrestleMania and the Hall of Fame and this, that, and the third. He's like an ambassador now. He's not leaving per se. And you know, Ric Flair had a story with Shawn Michaels, and the ending of that match is beautiful. And also, I'm going to say something. Ric Flair doesn't mean that much to WWE fans. I respect what he did. I grew up with Hulk Hogan. I grew up with Macho Man. Uh, and you know what? If Macho Man got a retirement match in 2008, I would want him to fucking win. I wouldn't want Shawn Michaels to kick his fucking head off. All right, because those are the people and just like Hulk Hogan and Macho Man meant something to me, John Cena means something to the kids of today. And I think people wanted because for years John Cena lost. Not forget, John Cena lost to Austin Theory. It did nothing for him. Like people are acting like he got unmasked on Monday. People are acting like this guy has done nothing until Monday. The guy fucking beat John Cena at WrestleMania, and then they immediately put him in a tag team. Solo Sikoa destroyed John Cena. Again, nothing happened for this guy. So it's not like John Cena has been beating everybody in his path and then suddenly lost to Gunther. He's already put people over. People just wanted Cena to have one great moment, which they've kind of denied us for years now. Which is John Cena. Remember there was the whole thing. John Cena didn't win a singles match until since 2017. Remember there was that whole fucking storyline.
Hmm.
So it's not like he's been winning. It's not like he's been like dropping the big leg on people. People wanted that one final moment of Cena triumphing and saying goodbye, and I think he earned it. I think the fan base earned it. And I don't think this is going to do much for Gunther. I don't think it is. Right now people are booing, but it's all about the follow up. And they're not good at follow ups. They didn't follow up with Austin Theory. They didn't follow up with Solo Sikoa. So I have no faith in them following up with Gunther. And right now, Braun Breaker's in a feud with CM Punk. Cody Rhodes in a feud with Drew McIntyre. You want me to take this seriously? You want me to fucking be on the January Raw? Put Gunther in that match and have him win the belt. Have someone put Gunther in the match and have him win the belt. You want me to take this shit seriously? Otherwise, he's just gonna be in the background retiring people, and he's 40, and it's just like it. I thought the whole thing was an embarrassment, and I'm watching less WWE than ever, and I'm not paying for any of the services they got, and a lot of it had to do with the Cena retirement run. And I'm not saying that AEW is better because I think that's what everyone goes to. They both fucking stink, and they both should be ashamed of themselves. And that's my theory, and that's my thoughts.
I think the fan base has also changed because I saw a lot of people trying to compare it to Roman Undertaker and the booze that Gunther got to Roman Undertaker. And the fans are, I mean, I guess they're just not as invested. They aren't even in that moment with Gunther. They're in the moment of this is Roman Undertaker light. And it's like, no, you got to be invested in the moment. But I guess the WWE did not give them a reason in their heads, a reason to be invested in the moment. As for the whole John Cena retirement as a whole, I think that's going to be something that will be looked at better in years to come. Not worse, better. I think people are going to appreciate the matches for what they are. I had some of it on the YouTube. Best of 2025. And then I just let like live wrestling on YouTube just run while I have to do
Mhm.
work or whatever. And like Cena Orton, which I didn't hate before, I had a better fondness for it now that it's over and I'm not as invested in the storyline anymore because we're done. Similar to what we do with some of these pay-per-views, that like you're not in it's over. So you can just kind of appreciate like a match for a match. So I think in the long run, that's going to happen with his retirement tour, but they've hinted at it and we've seen it. There definitely could have been things that would could have been done better. A lot of things. I know he said that if it was the way that it was originally planned, they none of these matches would happen. But you also can't believe a word that he says
I don't
as
believe
well.
what.
So like, there's no way he wasn't fighting Randy Orton, CM Punk, and the rest of them, even if The Rock was or was not there. But
And
it just did not work for a lot of people. It really didn't.
I the problem I have with all these podcasts is you're not being 100% transparent because if you knew that The Rock was never coming back, like the week after the heel run, you would have Triple H would have wrote in a line that had you be dismissive of The Rock. You never were dismissive of The Rock, and that's because I think up until the day of the retirement, everyone, Pritchard, Hunter, Cena, everyone was hoping Rock would come back just for a second. They were hoping.
He was in the area, wasn't he? For
I don't
41?
know.
He just didn't show. I can't remember the details.
I'm not sure, but and if you go back and watch critique, we were there, but watch the opening video package of night one of WrestleMania. They show The Rock, and they're like, "You think you've seen shocking? You haven't seen anything yet." And the subtext of that, you don't listen to me. Let me tell you, like WrestleMania 10, they don't show Hulk Hogan in the video package and be like, "Oh, you're in for a big surprise." What's the surprise?
Yeah.
Surprise! Bret Hart has the belt. Like you don't show Hulk Hogan in that video package unless you think Hulk Hogan is going to show up. They didn't because they knew Hulk Hogan wasn't showing up. They showed The Rock in Night One's video package because they thought.
They showed The Rock on night one. If like at the Superstore for Mania, they had the final boss. Like they had final boss merch. They had final boss on the wall of superstars for Mania. He's on the Mania Cup that they give out.
Yeah,
He's one of the superstars listed. So yeah, I do believe he was supposed to show up at Mania. Or
and I
then I thought maybe he'd show up at SummerSlam. You know, obviously they just kind of dropped the heel gimmick. It would made more sense if he just made an appearance and Cena like kind of punched him or whatever. I'm like, hey, F you. Like, just do a quick little. You could have had one quick, give the fans the moment that they invested in with the Elimination Chamber, give them some resolution on that, hey, I'm done with The Rock. Fuck you, Final Boss. I'm going to be regular old John Cena now. Like, something, just
I
have one little moment that gives the fan that moment.
yeah, and I think like Cena's like whole thing, like I just move forward and stuff, and you're like, okay, but like you understand in the world we live in now, that heel turn is all over TikTok. It's all over YouTube. It's beaten like you can't avoid it if you try.
No.
That's
Yeah.
always in people's minds. So you have to address The Rock. Just be honest. The reason why we did it is, and I think even now they're hoping The Rock will show up for WrestleMania season. They wanted The Rock to come back, and they were afraid that if Cena fucking went fuck The Rock, I don't need him. The Rock would come back and either
Yeah.
back and cause chaos, or he would be like, I'm never showing up again, and or cause problems for Hunter. It's just it's like, bro, if you knew The Rock wasn't coming back, you know you're not an idiot. You can't do this gaslight. We just got to move on. You know you had to have say one thing to address it, and you never did. You never did because you thought he was going to come back the whole time. The whole
He's
time. You thought he was
also
going to.
a shareholder, so they're gonna always make sure The Rock looks great no matter
Mhm.
what he does, even though his past few appearances this whole year, besides I guess the throat thing, have been terrible. I mean, he came back January 6th, negated
Get back
everything that
on
he talked
Jameis.
about. Yes, he came negated everything that he did for the whole year last
Oh, right,
year.
with Cody. Yeah, the whole.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're sharing tequila shots.
which you're like, what are you talking about? And like they raised, he like was like, I guess on Roman's side. Then he completely left the bloodline, went on NXT and did nothing as well. And then he came back, did the soul stuff, and then they did the heel turn. And they're talking about pivots. Like this is just me thinking while you guys were talking. A nice pivot would have been like if you still want to do the Travis Scott run-in BS crap, have him because right before that, Stone Cold almost like crashed and like killed that person. He didn't.
Oh yeah,
Maybe have, which was funny. Not for them. It was funny
no.
to watch. Maybe have Travis Scott like interrupt, do that whole stupid fiend thing, and he's interrupting Austin's attendance stuff. So then Travis Scott takes a stunner. So Travis Scott's like in the building or like knocked out, and then maybe he can come back later, and then maybe you bring out Austin again. I don't know, something like oh you had Austin in the building. You don't have Rock, you have Stone Cold, and Stone
Well,
Cold did nothing at 41. He announced the
Triple H,
attendance. Stone Cold Steve Austin should not be announcing the attendance. Like, and I'm not like Stone Cold's like my hero or anything, but like, what a waste of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No, that was a waste of especially since the last time he was at Mania, he had that amazing match with Kevin Owens. Sure, it was, he hadn't thrown a work punch in years and it was whatever, but it was a great way for the fans to enjoy him one more time. I felt like that was going to be his last ever appearance. Like that's a great way to go out. He did win that what immortal moment thing. I don't know if that's going to become a recurring Hall of Fame
Oh, I think yeah.
segment.
they're like idiots while Triple H did his whole fucking entrance.
Yeah.
They're gonna
They,
put Stephanie McMahon Trish Stratus in as the which was a good match. 2001, No Way
It
Out
is a good
is
match.
gonna be the next one that they put in, or John Cena CM Punk at Saudi Arabia since he loves it so much.
um,
He
I,
loves
I
that Saudi Arabia thing.
I think that this year, I wouldn't I would put John Cena in the Hall of Fame twice this year. I would give him the Wrestler of the Year or the whatever the Hall of Fame the top thing. But then for the most memorable moments match, I would put in John Cena. Hold on, I had it in my head. God, did those matches stink? John Cena. You know what I would do? I would put John Cena versus The Rock in the Hall of Fame at 28 memorable moments, and see if The Rock shows up, and then finish it off at the fucking Hall of Fame. I don't know.
He
That's
I
takes
not
mean,
a
it.
I
match,
think
and I think why not give John Cena the match? You could also do John Cena versus JBL. I mean, that match basically kicked off his run.
I think they
Uh,
would either do Cena Orton, Cena Rock, or Cena Punk, even though those
but
last two are active.
for the Hall of Fame matches. So that's why I'm thinking Cena, Rock, or Cena Wyatt. There you go.
No, that'd be nice. But I
I've
think
seen
it'd piss you off more, 'cause then The Rock would also just be like, "Oh yeah, this was all fake," like he did the last time, the second John Cena turned heel. And they had the press conferences. He was like, "Oh, what a great acting that we all did." And I was like, "This is
You're right.
please
Cena
stop saying
Wyatt,
this stuff."
Firefly Funhouse that should be the memorable moment, and then you get Bray Wyatt, and then you can still wait to put him in the Hall of Fame like a big deal, but he has his memorable moment. So Cena gets in twice.
Hmm.
I would be okay with that. Cena gets a memorable moment, and he just gets in the Hall of Fame as John Cena. You know?
Yeah, I can see him going in this year because he also didn't talk, which I know he talked all year about thanking everybody, but he didn't talk. Like he's like thank you like to the camera and then left. And like I think people wanted to hear like Goldberg. I think people wanted him to say something. And Saturday Night's main event just went off the air, and you're like, is it coming back? Are we back from commercial? Then they
Yeah.
showed like a Miz promo. I was like, oh, I guess it's done. Okay, cool.
Oh, now the countdown's starting. All right.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it felt almost like a play in that he was like bowing, like, "Hey, I'm done." There was a chant to shake the jorts off, and I'm like, "All right, yeah, we'll do a full strip tease." All right.
he's done worse than Peacemaker and the
Yeah, exactly.
Oscars, so why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I didn't enjoy. The other thing is, I just in general, I didn't enjoy the show. I don't the way WWE paces everything now. I don't like it. It's just okay. I thought it was recording. We are recording. I just
Could you imagine?
compared to this show. Now, I'm not saying that this show is greater. I'm not going to give you my thoughts on the show yet, but compared to Royal Rumble '98, just I'm talking about the pacing. The pacing is so much better on the '98 shows than these modern shows, and I don't know what it is because yes, the athleticism is better. Yes, someone could look at me like Javon Evans and Leon Slater are such better athletes than Vader and Fat Goldust. Oh yeah, I agree. But somehow their match was paced better for consumption. Does that make any sense to you guys? Like, I just don't like the
It
pacing of it.
I think it's everything is paced for TV now. Pay-per-view was just back then just a pay-per-view. You had your little ads, but you didn't have that much. They'd go like the hotline, they'd promote something, but they put a video package up. But now, even on Peacock, if it's a pay-per-view, PLE, you still have to do the pauses for the premium channel and then the non-premium channel and then whatever commercial you have to add here. And I think that's all of WWE's programming is like that, which is why you see so many commercials or pictures and pictures, and like why I think it messes with the pacing because there's always some type of ad, whether it's their fault or a network's fault or whatever's fault it is. That is just the way they do it now, and it can drive you crazy.
Yeah, it's
I've watched a little bit of like those Untolds, and like I know when they talk about the producers, they're like, yeah, they're always the producers aren't even really helping with the match moments. They're literally just helping with like break spots and times. So, like it feels like yeah, it's just overproduced. Or they're so stressed with time, which I still don't understand on Netflix. Like, why do they have to have a cutoff time? Like with Netflix, you can go. I've seen the Raws. Sometimes they're like 2.5 hours. Sometimes they're full 3 hours. Like I really don't understand if it's more for commercial spots, that's I understand that, but like I still understand like why they have to be done at a certain time when it's on Netflix. So I'm just
I
yeah, it just seems like they're very stressed about cutoff times.
I think they're lying because they want to get out of the building and not pay fees.
Okay, so yeah. So it's a money issue. Yay.
That's my theory.
I kind of feel like did was like Vince McMahon and Keith Mitchell, who's in W, are they the only guys who knew how to properly time out a show? Because even AEW, like the timing is always like goes too long. There's matches like that should. There's matches like again, like we talked about Rock's Austin at the DX show, and I'm like, this match works because it's 6 minutes.
Hmm.
There's some matches on the AEW cards that I'm like, this should just go 6 minutes, you know? And instead it goes 20 and it's like it's not as interesting as it would have been at six. And you put in two 6 minute matches on an AEW card, you can give longer times to like, I don't know, like I feel like Moxie and Darby would be a great 6 minute match. I feel like those guys would kill it in 6 minutes.
No,
And it,
I think they needed their time to do all their scary stuff.
well,
You need a fish tank segment. You need to fake drown it.
Exactly.
Austin put D'Lo Brown through a car in 6 minutes and still pin the Rock, so
All
he can
right,
do it.
start with the fish, I guess.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
AEW, to its credit and detriment, kind of reminds me of like a comedy show where someone wants to like give everybody time, but some of those comics are better 6 minute comics than they are 20
Yeah.
minute comics. And
Mhm.
it's admirable and it's cool. I get it, but also, hey, maybe I'm just saying her name. I don't even mean this. Maybe Anna Jay shouldn't be out there for 15 minutes. You know, maybe give her the light at 6, and then her and Ty J can end it like right there. But no, AEW loves their time. I think I said it on the podcast before. I had to leave the Bridgeport show because they were doing Rampage, and it was Wardlow versus one of the Bear Country guys. And that match had a commercial break, and I was like, no, just power bomb him and leave. This guy doesn't win matches. Why is this match? Why is Bear Country even getting offense on Wardlow? And I had to go. I was like, I can't watch the rest of the show. I'm gonna be stranded in Bridgeport.
and I think Tony Khan doesn't understand like if Iron Mike Sharp started whooping Hogan's ass on Superstars one day, and then Hogan still won. It doesn't do much for Iron Mike Sharp. It just diminishes Hogan because it's like, why are you when Iron Mike Sharp? And I think Tony would think like, oh, we're helping Iron Mike Sharp get over, and I'm like, well, the next week, Iron Mike Sharp is still on Superstars, losing to Million Dollar Man. So, did you really get him over? Like, you have to then commit, and you can't push everybody on the planet. Like, some people have to be bitches, you know?
I mean,
Um,
look at Meechin. Not bitching that way, but Meechin doesn't win anything. She just kind of shows up and she's like, I'm gonna fight for a woman's title and never wins and gets her
Yeah.
ass beat. And it's not fair, but that's just her role.
so listen,
She's
yeah,
the
because
new Dolph.
Exactly.
not
That's why
everybody's gonna
Dolph left.
not everybody's gonna be the top star. Like, and that's just, and I think sometimes people don't have a hard time realizing that, but it's like, if everyone who's someone's got to lose, someone's got to look like an idiot to get somebody over, you know?
But also,
And
as we saw, this is I hope this is just nostalgia glasses. But 2000, even 2001, the Attitude Era, one of their benefits was that 98% of the roster was over. Like in some capacity. Like you could see Kai and Ty and you wouldn't be like, oh, you'd be like, all right, they're gonna go and they're gonna do their thing, or Too Cool's gonna do their thing. Mean Street Posse to an extent was also over. Like there are very few people in the 2000s part of the Attitude Era that were not like channel changers or like it was like just Joe, the people who were like exclusively on Heat. I guess say
Well,
Reels that weren't that over.
I think that like, but I think Heat to Heat's credit, more so the show Heat. There was a lot of character work done on Heat,
There
like
was.
developed into Too Cool on Heat. The who else did you say that was over that developed on Heat? Eddie Guerrero and China would do sketches on Heat. I remember that in 2000. So like they're like testing stuff out with those two and their chemistry, so that when they get to Raw and Raw's live, they feel comfortable with each other. You know. And I think the fact that main event just doesn't matter and there's no other show besides main event, you don't have time like a perfect person that I think could use heat is right now become like a better character is like Lyra Valkyrie could use heat. And then all the other things, if you put these people on heat, everyone complains. But or I'm sorry, main event. But if you use main event as like the heat substitute, you can develop. People have time to develop on national TV and fail, and they just don't do that. But yeah, like 2000, the reason why all those guys were over is that they could fuck around on these other shows and they gave them real time to fuck around.
There was
So
time on Heat. There was time on Shotgun Saturday Night. Whereas, again, no one's watching main event. No one's watching. Like, there's the Speed tournament right now. Does anyone care about the Speed Championship tournaments?
No,
Like,
not
yeah,
even a little bit.
exactly. It's a shame because there are guys on there that are like, oh, this is. And I feel like sometimes it's also like, hey, I just want to wrestle. Like, I know the mindset of these guys is they don't care if it's on Tubi or CW. They just want to get out there and wrestle. So but I think it's also there's way more content now and there's way more wrestling now for the fans. Whereas like you're wrestling on, if you wanted to watch something and you missed Raw, you had to watch Heat or Shotgun Saturday Night. You didn't have replays and streaming and everything. So I think there's just too much wrestling content. I think that's why the main event doesn't really matter anymore.
yeah, too much wrestling content, but not enough TV time for everybody.
Yeah, it's such a bizarre thing to say that there's too much content but not enough quality content and not enough TV time.
They also get shut down. I think it was Mustafa Ali and Ricochet had like a 5 match or a 3 match thing on main event, and they tried
Right.
to build vignettes and things like that. I don't know if they ever got them built, or like maybe one or two of them came out, and then they get in trouble for that. And it's just like, why not? Like, why don't you just let these people build the story on Heat? Also, I think the on the flip of that, I think the wrestling fans, at least on Twitter, the social media wrestling fans don't give anything time to grow. I saw somebody do an engagement bait thing about Kit Wilson's new toxic masculinity character. So he had the flag about toxic masculinity and new music and all that stuff. And he was on Heat doing it. And they're like, this is what they have him doing now. Like, let him fucking try it out. What is he doing?
It's
What
main
else
event.
is
No
he
one
doing? Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Let him
Take
try it out.
take a swing. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it'll get over, maybe it won't. But who knows what happened to the other pretty deadly Elton Prince? Got like hurt.
Yeah, I
So he's
think there
got
was
to
an
do
injury with
something.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
like let him try it out. If you guys don't give anybody, like everyone just takes a clip out of context and tries to bury everything about whatever's going on, no matter what the promotion is. Tries
Oh
to
yeah.
bury everything that's going on, and like you're also part of the problem. Like fucking let them try this stuff out or let them pivot. Uh, yeah, I was about to mention Thea Hale and Blake Monroe, but I don't want to get into that. We got
That's so
1998 to be into.
I'm glad Thea Hale won. Okay, I want to talk about that. People are acting. I saw some of these fans, these AW fans, acting like first of all that the promo where what's her name? Not Piper Niven. What's the fuck? I can't remember. She's so over. I can't remember her stupid name. What's her name? Tony
Tony's.
Storm
Yes.
cut the promo with like you're gonna have a lifetime mediocrity, which was in character, and they're like, oh, that's so real. She's gonna have a lifetime mediocrity, and like this hatred, and it's like it's like Blake Monroe's been doing pretty good on NXT. There's no look when they signed her, there's no room on the main roster. She would have got lost. There's barely room for Julia on the main roster. Okay,
exactly. Yeah.
so you gotta wait. You gotta wait till someone gets moved down or someone gets fired or quit. But she's doing great, and it's like Thea Hale actually really hurt her. and it was a botch. I'm not saying that to like shit on Thea Hale. And the way people talk about Blake Monroe, because she wanted to go to WWE when she had the opportunity, she went. The way they talk about her, and it's like, hey man, this is her dream. Like also women have this sounds awful. They have a limited shelf life. All right. If she has the opportunity to go to WWE now, if she wants to become as big as Rhea Ripley or Becky Lynch, she's got to take it now when they offered it to her. Because if especially if she wants to eventually have kids and this, that, and the third, she's got to go now. And I think she's doing great. And the way they talk about her, because I think they thought that she was going to be like the Rock to Tony Storm's Austin, and I don't see it. I think Tony Storm is okay, but I heard one of these AEW guys say like she's the best character since The Rock. That's absolute buffoonery. She's fine, she's good, but she's not like The Rock. And I don't know, man. I just think like there's this anger that Blake Monroe left AEW, and I just think it's really weird. If that's her dream, if that's her goal, let her go live out her dream and goal. Man, maybe and
Yeah.
doesn't work out and she goes back to AEW, I think they're going to also be mad at her. It doesn't work out. But what is she going to do? Never try because what is she? What is? There's no Tony wasn't gonna give her a story after she lost to Tony Storm. Like I don't know where she would have been. Half these women are doing nothing anyway. So that's my
No,
whole thing.
I agree with you on that. I don't know why there's such vitriol for Blake Monroe for leaving. She followed a dream. Her contract ended. She went someplace else. And I think a lot of fans forget that at the end of the day, this is a job. If you want to go to another job, you can go to another job. If you don't like your job, you can go to another job. And maybe you'll have a good time there, maybe you won't. Same thing with comedy clubs. If you don't like this one club, you're not exclusive to any club.
Yeah.
So unless someone really wants you to be exclusive to their club and pays you that much, but you can go someplace else, and that's what she did. She's a developing character. I think they still need to figure out some stuff because they do like the split personality thing with her, and they don't think that's landed as well as they wanted to. But I think she has been doing well. I think she'll be on the main roster within a year. You can also just kind of rehash or kind of redo the same feud with Tiffany Stratton, same initials, because they're kind of
Oh
the
yeah.
same. They're both kind of glamorous people, and I think it would be a good challenge for Tiffany to have somebody that like just a different kind of feud to have her have some character development. But there's stuff that you'll be able to do with her really really soon, and she's learning and she's growing, and this also people also are shitting on Thea Hale. I know it was a mistake, but Thea Hale's been working her ass off for like 3 4 years, man. If that's how she got the title, she's owning it. She's holding on to it for as much as she can. So I think good on both of them. And now it's gonna have intrigue for when they fight again, which I assume New Year's Evil. I haven't read any spoilers. But now this cold feud that happened like 2 weeks ago is now a feud that I'm invested in and a feud that other people are invested in. Because now you can go either way. Thea Hale
And,
could continue, or Blake Monroe can win it back, and you're invested.
and I like the fact that I would do the same. I know Vince did this. Count as a shoot, and it's up to the wrestlers to kick out. And she didn't kick out. It is what it is. But that's also makes live TV exciting because now, like I heard they were scrambling in the back. I wouldn't scramble in the back. I'll tell you what, man. Fucking Cody. Let's say Cody didn't kick out at WrestleMania 40 and Roman pins him 3 minutes in. To
Oh
me,
my God.
to me,
The pyro and the music go.
what?
No,
The
I just think it's
pirate.
funny that Cody doesn't kick out, but then Cody's music starts playing, and then the pyro goes off, like because that's basically what happened with this, where the wrong music started playing too. Yeah,
That makes an exciting storyline. What you could do, you could have The Rock. Like right now, I'm just thinking all the time that Rock comes out and be like, "Oh, you know what? You got off easy, Roman. I want you to beat him again. It's gonna be 2 out of 3 falls, Bloodline rules." Or you
yeah,
can have Cody go on like, "I just don't have it" storyline. Or maybe like they call a rematch, or maybe somebody else
mm.
challenges Roman on Raw and they win the belt. Like there's so many different ways you can go, and it's like if you and I don't want and I would say it to the wrestlers, if you screw up we might go in a different direction that you're not involved in. And I think that adds excitement to it. And I think that I don't know. I don't see it as a bad thing. I don't see it as a bad thing. If Cody doesn't kick out a 40 or Thea Hale pins Blake Monroe, I see it as an exciting opportunity to because it's real. Well, wow, this is real. Now we can go with it, you know?
I feel like one has more stakes over the other. I could just see them in the back,
Just a
just
little bit.
stunned if Cody didn't kick out. They're like, send out Austin.
Bruce
I don't
Pritchard has
know.
like 3 heart attacks.
Exactly.
Why
The
did we
under
buy Dusty Rhodes' watch? God damn it.
the Undertaker runs out. He has one more match, wins the title. Oh my God. They had
I'm
nothing.
calling a
Cody doesn't
match
kick
right
out.
now.
Right.
It's the Boneyards rules match now.
They'll do the Mr. Fuji yelling at
Yeah.
Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, you want to get in here? It's like me. Poor Bret Hart.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Even now, can you imagine
have, have Nick Hogan show up with a
Yeah,
shotgun.
Nick Hogan wins the title. It's like, wow, they had nothing. This is the Unreal season is going to be awesome, but this is
Yeah,
their this is not good to watch now.
yeah.
he kick out and he loses in 3 minutes, and then the fucking Bruce Pritchard ass chewing to Cody, like, "Why'd you go back to AEW, you fucking idiot?" Yeah.
He would be on Dynamite that Wednesday. They would get rid of him. He would be gone.
He'd be fighting Lee Moriarty.
And Lee Moriarty, our boy, everyone's favorite, Adam Copeland's favorite for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
Speaking of Lee Moriarty, not him, but let's go back to a
All
year where
right. Well, we talked about an hour, so I gotta take a bathroom break.
think
Talk about
about
an hour about common wrestling, and then we can get into
it,
the.
into the greatest year of our lives. So, but Kyle's gonna take a break. Pratik, let me introduce you to my one of my favorite years of pro wrestling,
Yeah.
1998. I love this year. Are there 5-star classics? No, but they're 5-star classics in my heart. You were a fan in 1998, right?
I was kind of like you, where I kind of came back in bits and pieces through 1998. But like, you remember the moments. You remember things that like, oh, this still resonated with me. And we'll get into this pay per view in particular. But I do remember bits and pieces Rumble. But this is the first time that I went through the entire pay per view, and it. There is something we talked about with pacing earlier. Like, there just I'm not trying to give Vince McMahon all the credit in the world, but just whoever was running timing and pacing back then, and I feel like Vince has a good eye for shit. Maybe he lost his eye towards the end of that run because there were definitely plenty of Vince decisions beyond just the sexual stuff. We don't have to talk about any of that. But like, there were plenty of Vince booking decisions in 2016, 2017, where I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, the fact that they didn't have a program with Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar instead of like just feeding Joe to Brock Lesnar. I still never understood that decision. I never understood making the Cena Undertaker match at 34 more than 3 minutes long. I didn't understand feeding Roman again to Brock Lesnar over and over again. Like, there were a lot of Vince things where I'm just like, what are we doing here? Not capitalizing on Finn Balor's momentum. There were just things where I'm like, what are you doing? But in 1998, I think just Vince understood, hey, these two guys should go, and it doesn't need to be, a 16-minute match on Collision. Like, give them 6 minutes on Shotgun Saturday Night, give them 8 minutes on Heat or whatever. Like, there was something to Vince's like, don't let this match linger. Like, give the crowd the what they need and keep them wanting more. If they really like something, we'll do it again. We'll run it back.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I so what happened was I got back into wrestling because of WCW versus NWO World Tour on the N64. You
Oh
know,
yeah, that was a good one.
and then I got that for Christmas '97, and I spent most of my I got other games, and I was shocked that that was the one that I kept coming back to that holiday season. The holiday break between Christmas and New Year's. And while I'm getting into it, I decided to peek my head back into wrestling. And WWF kind of looked lame with the because that's when they were hyping up the DX pay per view. I'm like, oh, this just feels like a WL retread. And then I started grabbing the magazines, and I started like, oh wow, WWE's getting a little crazy. And then I remember the night after this, the Tyson Austin thing was really the turning point, I think, to bring WWE back and to really everything they have today starts with that Tyson Austin moment.
There's a I forget if Flair says it or somebody says it, but like they say like yeah, after the screw job, like Austin kind of saved the business, and I agree to an extent. Like there was just something really badass about Austin and Michaels, and then you throw in Tyson. Even if you're say you're not a wrestling fan at that point, you knew who Mike Tyson was. That Mike Tyson Austin moment. I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves with this favor, but that Mike Tyson Austin moment, like you didn't have to be a wrestling fan. That was on ESPN. That was on the news. That was everywhere. Everybody knew that moment.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah,
being on the school bus talking about that fucking moment.
it was everywhere. And I don't. I think it took a while to really capitalize on it because if you watch the Raw the week after, nothing happens, and then Austin just comes
Yeah,
out.
they did. They didn't build off of that. Yeah.
But the groundwork was there, and then the night after WrestleMania, it just explodes, and then I couldn't stop watching. I started going over to my friend's house in February to watch the Monday Night Wars
Yeah.
right after Super Bowl. This is after Super Bowl. And we would watch Nitro and put on Raw, and we would just be like, how are they even trying to compete? They can barely compete with Nitro. And then by the summer, it was Raw, and then occasionally throw on Nitro. You know, it was a complete 180. But we were like all about Nitro, barely about Raw. Those first, and then I went over his place to watch wrestling for about 2 years. 2 years every Monday, I was over his house watching wrestling, and it was a great time. And now our lives are over. So
Well, it takes you. Wrestling was like you plan your day around like, oh man, wrestling is gonna be on soon. Now it's like, I'll get back from a show or late night, maybe I'll catch it. Like even like this to go back to Cena's thing, like I started watching. I'm like, let me try. I don't want to miss something from the main event. I don't want the main event spoiled, so I'll start with the main event. But it was like 2 a.m. And that was our thing with Peacock. It kept freezing if you try to watch it at the actual time. I always watch the replays because the bandwidth is so poor, piss poor on these streamers. I'm actually borrowing a friend's Disney Plus package to try to watch. That's how I watch Survivor Series. And the fucking during the actual event, like it's just the bandwidth so low, it keeps chipping and freezing. I always wait like till after midnight. That's the other thing with these streamers. You're paying 29.99, 39.99 for these pay per views, and then the quality isn't even. They haven't even figured out the technology yet.
no, no, it's true. Kyle, you there? Or are you still?
No, I'm right here. I came in while you were talking.
All right, cool. So I really like this show. So this was the first I started collecting pay-per-views in the middle of '98. This was one of the first ones I bought because here's a fact. This was the first time you could just go to FYE or the Wiz and buy a pay-per-view like a month after it came out, like on physical media. Before then, you could only rent it. If you tried to buy it,
Mhm.
60 $70. But this is when they started. Now it's still $30 to tape at first, and obviously, but you could buy it, and that was huge. This was the first one. This also pay-per-views where they kick off WWE Home Video, which lasts until 2023. There's no more Coliseum Video as of this show. Um, so that was big. So I watched this, and I really liked it, and I started collecting pay-per-views, and like an idiot, I gave them all away, and now I'm left with nothing, and my life has no meaning because they're taking away Peacock. But anyway, yeah, I had this on VHS, and I have it on DVD. I watched the DVD version of this. You guys probably watched it on Peacock, but I really, really enjoy the show. Is it the best working show? No, but the vibes, it has immaculate vibes. Kyle, your thoughts on Royal Rumble '98?
I mean, I think this is where you start to see the turn. I know we've said this a little bit before, but this is when this is a different WWE that you're going to start watching, and you're going to be watching for the next few years. I mean, you got Vader, Goldust kicking it off. I mean, there's still some stuff like the minis. You get the Rock is ingrained and starting to be the Rock that. The whole show's surrounded around what Stone Cold's going to do. Of course, you have the Rumble, and then the main event, which also surprised me because my WWE brain documentary memory, brain rot as the kids say, made me think once Shawn Michaels took that backdrop, like he didn't do anything, but he wrestles a full ass match. Like
Yeah,
I thought the backdrop, and then like they had the pivot. I was just from my brain, and they brought out Kane and they took out the Undertaker. But he wrestles. You wouldn't even known that he got hurt watching the way Shawn Michaels wrestled. So that was interesting to see again. But no, overall a good show. Good Rumble, good main event. even the opener. So I mean, this is it. We're here. Attitude
Yeah,
Era is in full swing.
Attitude Era is in full swing. Life has meaning again. Um, and I also think the significant thing about this show, and we'll get more into it, but this really, I know like people think this is Austin's show. I know people think this is Shawn Michaels' show because this is the Rock show. This is the show where Vince, they don't do it over the top, but they're telling you like this is gonna be like the next guy, whether you like it or not. Like, and it works. He has more ring time on this show than most wrestlers have. Period. Um, he's all over this show, and it works. And this is really like a stealth, like coming of age show for The Rock, and I think that he delivers. He's great in everything he does on this show. Critique? What
I
do you
agree.
think?
Yeah, you see all the Attitude Era players, like even like Mick Foley getting multiple run-ins during the Rumble with the different faces of Foley. Like they all have standout moments. I think Foley starts the Rumble too. Like all these guys that I grew up to love in the Attitude Era. You see them sort of like this is their like coming out, not full out and coming out party, but they all make their moves. They're all given like these big moments in the pay-per-view. Rock wrestling like almost two matches, two full matches on this card. Austin coming in having a great moment. You see like The Rock fighting Foley. You see The Rock fighting Austin. Like, oh, this is building to like these guys are gonna have like feuds for years to come. Like maybe that wasn't the intention, but that was my thought throughout like this pay per view and like the DX pay per view. Like you're seeing these like seeds planted for like feuds to come, and whether or not it was intentional or whether or not it was just they had just good chemistry and Vince noticed that and wanted to capitalize it. But you see it in this pay per view, and that's what I love about this time of year and that's what's great about the Rumble in general. Like you see different feuds get either restarted or they'll build upon it if the fans are into it. And the crowd was hot too. I believe this was in San Jose too, so great San Jose crowd as well.
I I loved it. It's a great show. Let's get into it. We kick off with a little video package which shows you the new crew of WWF, and it is a crew of riffraff with a little video package. Then we cut to Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler inviting us to the 11th Royal Rumble, and then they show Mike Tyson in the skybox, and the crowd boos. Um, I thought it was great having Tyson here. I'm wondering if that added views, but also like it gets you ready for what he's going to do at Raw, but it also does it because it makes Tyson look like he's just going to be a happy to be here type of guy. And it kind of sets up this whole show sets up the next night really well, and which is one of the most historic nights in WWE history. But I like the way they play off Tyson is just like, oh, I'm just happy to be here. Like not as this badass, but as a guy who just is really enjoying the show. I thought that was pretty smart. Kyle, what do you think?
I thought the same thing. It was very casual. He's just there. I was surprised to hear the booze. Again, it's been a while since I've seen it, but the fans I mean, they're just like, it's just another celebrity here. We don't really care. But no, I think they set it up well. Him in the skybox, him just enjoying himself, and you get these glimpses throughout the entire show. Because Mike Tyson's a fan of Stone Cold, he's based off of what we're seeing. Like he's happy to see Stone Cold and things like that. So I think it was a really, really wonderful setup that they did, and a nice little way to start the show.
Yeah. Critique your thoughts
Yeah,
on. By the way, they were booing him because the ear biting incident was still fresh. People were
Yes,
not.
I was wondering that. I remember the year. I remember the year. I
yeah.
don't remember.
I remember the biting. Remember the ear. Yeah.
Yes, I didn't think if people were still upset, but
I think
Or
I think they were trying to capitalize on his, sort of whatever was notoriety or notoriousness because of the ear biting. But yeah, he was there. I think, it's one of those celebrity kind of, look, I know people, wrestling fans, especially on the internet, they hate when any time a celebrity is used for anything in wrestling, but it's been happening since the beginning of WrestleMania. WrestleMania was started with celebrities being involved. I was actually at the Rock. Side note, real quick, I was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Cyndi Lauper got inducted this year, and they actually included a couple of the moments with Captain Lou, whether or not it was just a video, and they also had a photo of her from not WrestleMania, but like I think it was the MSG show. So that was nice that part of her music career they paid respect to her wrestling career as well. But yeah, I don't mind celebrity involvement if they're a fan or they actually take it seriously, which was great about Mike Tyson. You could see he was reacting to the show. He was popping for the big moments. He was reacting to Owen Hart, later in the Rumble. So I think that's what helped too. I also found Shane was sitting with him too. I thought that was great. They're reacting, and then Shane sitting there. But yeah, great way to start the show. And you're also seeing great chemistry between Lawler and Ross. There are a lot of great little banter moments that they have throughout the pay per view, and you're starting to see them kind of develop their repertoire. And Lawler always been a heel, but I think his heel character is working even better now because he's playing off Ross even better. So I'm really enjoying the Jim Ross, Jerry Lawler, the kind of the evolution of their relationship as well. And you're seeing that in this pay per view.
Um, yeah, Shane was his handler during all
Yeah.
the time. Shane was like in charge of keeping him normal.
You don't need him freaking out on Ken Shamrock.
Really needed freaking out. So, all right, let's get to the first match. It is Vader and Goldust. Now, when I saw this match years ago, I really liked it, and I thought I'd still really like it. Here's the problem: I've seen these guys before, and they could bring it. And they both have their problems. They both have their addictions. Dustin with drugs, and Vader with Hostess cupcakes. So, they're not what they were in '93.
Boo.
But
You
But
gotta fat
come
shame
on,
Vader. Come on.
Beta Tab, and it's good. I think this is the best Goldust match we've seen in a minute. But just the outfit, I mean, he's just there's so much going against him at the minute he walks out. But I thought the match was a good opener. It's just sad to see how far Vader and him have fallen because they were so. I mean, just 5 years before this. They're such they're such fucking beasts in WCW that they're hostage, they're blue chippers, Jim Ross would say, and now they're just like back going through the motions. But it was still fine. Kyle, what do you think?
Oh, I agree. That Golden South, man, that thing is so distracting. I didn't like it as a kid. I don't like it now. I watched, I was like, oh my God, am I homophobic? Like the way I was like felt about how this man dressed and acted during this era, especially during this match. I couldn't do it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It looks like when you hit the random button on like 2K or whatever, and you just hit select, that's your character. I can't wait till this run of Goldust is over. I never liked it. That being said, the match was fine. Crowd got into it. It was cool that Vader got the win. I liked the part with Luna Vachon. Luna Vachon tried to get involved, and the crowd really, really popped for that with the Vader bomb on top of Luna Vachon. I mean, with Luna Vachon on top of Goldust. But a rare win for Vader in 1998 because it only goes downhill from there for him in the WWE. I think shortly after he calls himself a big fat piece of shit, and then the rest is history. But it was a nice way to open it, and the crowd was hot. Just please don't ever wear that again. I can't put Dustin Rhodes. He's at like a plateau just because of that whole run for me in terms of great wrestlers. I can't do it. It's so gross.
Critique your thoughts, brother.
It's that thing of, I'm sure Vince gave him the storyline of, hey, you're gonna wear these different outfits, you're gonna have these different multiple personalities, and it's gonna be heel heat, brother. And like, you have to give, yes, it would the outfits were a bit extreme, a bit distracting, but I have to give credit to Dustin Rhodes. He took what was given and he made it his own. I did like some of the character work that he did with some of the other outfits to come. I think at one point he pretended to be Dusty Rhodes, like he thought he was Dusty Rhodes, and there's like a match on Raw with Bradshaw where he is Dusty Rhodes. So I like some of that. I liked a little bit of where the story goes. In terms of this match itself, it was fine. Again, we were talking about Vince knowing the pacing, knowing times. I think this match was the perfect length. If it was any more minutes, it would have started to drag. So I'm looking at the times there. I think it was about like 7 minutes 40 seconds. So yeah, perfect amount of time for them. Yes, it is a bit of a fall of grace, but hey, good opener match. Crowd got into it because again, the crowd loves them, and yeah, I really like the angle with Luna. That's been something I've been trying to do when I go back and watch this stuff is watch for some of the people that I didn't really appreciate. When I was a kid. One of them is Luna. I wish I got to appreciate her more. So she had a great little moment with Vader, and yeah, just good opener, not too long. Crowd got into it. Good way to get things going.
Yeah, she just scared me as a kid. I thought I was
Yeah,
just very,
yeah, she
very
freaked
afraid
me
of her.
out. Yeah,
Yeah, I thought she had like veiny hair. I thought that was like real, the like
yeah.
part of her head. It was like
Does she have a
it just scared me.
disease or
Yeah,
something?
I was so scared. And she was in Raw. She was in the game.
Yeah, she was the first. This is historic. She's the first woman who can wrestle intergender in video games.
Yeah.
She was the first one. She was the first playable female. And I actually looked. I wanted to show. I'm like, is Luna wrestling the men on the show? Like, I thought like they put her in the. And by the way, they could have got away with putting her in the division. I don't think anyone would have said anything if she was.
Nah, she just fought the minis. She had that music that like I still remember I remember the music from the Raw Super Nintendo and Genesis.
Yeah, but yeah, she was the first woman that could wrestle, and so that's historic. Yeah, I think the problem with this gold, formerly known as Goldust thing, is that it's building to a feud with Dusty Rhodes, but he's not there.
Yeah. He never showed up.
Up and over, he's like taunting. It's like it feels like it's more about that him and his dad don't get along, but his dad can't respond, and it's not building to anything. Like it's just weird. It's just like this guy's angry about his dad, and it's like, but the dad can't show up. If the dad now if they had the dad on the contract, what are like? Can you imagine Dusty versus Goldust at WrestleMania this year? That'd be fucking great.
That
But
would
the
have been
dad
huge.
on WCW going blah 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 blah. Blah. Let me tell you something. There it is. So it's just yeah, it didn't work. All right. So up next, Austin's there. The Godwins are looking for him. This happens throughout the show. It kind of is lame, but it's kind of funny. But the Godwins looking for Austin. Up next, we get the 6-man minis match with Sonny as the ref. Battalion, Tarantula, and El Torito take on Nova, Mosaic, and Max Mini. This is just a way to kill time. I used to like it more when I was younger. I don't know how they couldn't find anything to do with Sunny unless Sunny was so out of control. They're like, just have her do spots with the minis and then let her go back to the fucking crack house down the road. There's nothing much, we really can't trust her. But I was thinking about like 2 years ago, like she was the most interesting character on the show, and now she's like just standing there with the minis. It's fine. Again, like it just felt like the roster's so thin that they have to shove these minis out here. I'm curious enough, there's no Taka Michinoku and there's no like other light heavyweights. I think that would have been a better use to have Taka defend the belt in this slot than this. But what you think, Kyle, of
Yeah,
the
it was
minis?
I mean, I guess Sunny went to ref school, at least very briefly. She was allowed to referee this match. She tries to go for like a leapfrog and do that spot. That didn't go well. She could not do the leapfrog, bless her heart. Um, it was fine. All the minis were hitting their spots, doing the high flying moves. The crowd didn't seem to care that much until they got Sunny involved with some of the spots. But like I said, it was a time killer. I think we all learned in the long run that the minis don't really work out in the Attitude Era, despite their talent. But it was just there. Could have been worse.
It was
Could
just
have been DOA versus Los Barricos again. So and it wasn't that. So I'm okay.
critique your thoughts, brother.
Yeah, this just felt like, hey, we have all these guys in the Rumble. We need something to fill time. So let's throw the minis out there. But I feel like Sonny was tagged in to maybe be a referee just to kind of get the crowd a little bit more excited about it. It definitely had filler all over, but it's a shame because the actual match, I mean, the minis are doing the best they can do. Max Mini now we've seen, and I kind of forgot a lot of this stuff when I was a kid. I think I would be more into it as a kid, but watching it now, everybody did their part. It's a shame the crowd just really wasn't into it. I think it's good. It wasn't that. Again, Vince knew, or this backstage, whoever, they all knew not to keep this. Don't let it drag. Like if this was on AEW, this would be on Collision for like 20 minutes. But yeah, I think it's like 7 minutes. I think that's the other thing. Just keep it quick, keep it moving. Yeah, Sonny is the ref. I think it was just there for the crowd reaction because the crowd was not into the minis. But I appreciate WWF for trying something different. But it seems like, yeah, they're kind of starting to fade away from this stuff. So good to see him one more time again. I think people should go back and watch this. We talk a lot about what people should see. I think it's good to kind of go back and see this as a time capsule thing. And then we can all wince at Jerry Lawler's short jokes. He made a ton of terrible one-liners about short
Oh
people.
my God, yeah, he made a lot of bad ones. I think he made like
Yeah.
a pervy woman joke too.
There
That's
was a little
funny.
bit of the pervy
Yeah,
Lawler is coming out now. We're seeing that as well.
yeah, it was like
So
woof. I should have wrote them down, but I don't want them in my phone.
I try to
So
write some. I try to remember some of that, but like this one was so bad. I'm like, no, I'm not remembering any of
yeah,
this.
I don't need this in my
I
memory.
don't need to waste time on it.
Mm-mm.
Horny. Getting horny, the Jerry Lawler. What else is new? All right. Up next, Nick go in, burst into Austin's locker room. Then they find a foam finger, and then Vince and Shane. Vince is also with Tyson. They're talking. They're wheeling and dealing. Vince is slowly not being the announcer anymore. He's dressed more casual, like a businessman. I will say, Vince's suit game around this era, like the first couple of years of the Attitude Era, was on point. Like he did dress for a 50-something-year-old man. He had some good villain suits. You know,
They made some action
you know what I'm
figures of
saying? I
some of
don't know.
those suits.
Yeah, like the suit he's wearing. So I'm looking at a screenshot right now. The suit he's wearing it's a good like it's a good like this is what somebody would actually wear to business. The brown suit and stuff. So that's good for him. And then we go to The Rock, who cuts a promo about Bill Clinton. Don't be silly, hide the willy. And then he starts cutting a Rock promo called Rock. He show clips of Mark Henry turning on Ken Shamrock, which I thought was pivotal for Mark Henry's the growth and development. He's now a member of the Nation of Domination. The Rock's cutting a promo, and it's not there yet. I mean, he's still trying stuff, going on and on about Bill Clinton and shit. But he's finding his way, and it's coming along. I really enjoyed this early Rock promo. Kyle, what do you think?
It was good to see early Rock. Like you said, it's not there yet, and he's gonna find it sooner than later. But you're starting to see like Rocky Maivia is gone. It's the Rock this, the Rock that, and then he's trying to find that line. He'll find the line. But it was nice. It was nice to see. Thanks for the reminder too. I didn't remember how Mark Henry joined the nation, but good for him. But yeah, I liked it. I liked seeing The Rock learn on the fly pretty much, and we're knowing what we know in the future, despite all we were saying about him in the first hour of the show. It was cool. It was really cool to see.
Yeah, it was fun. Pratik, your thoughts, brother?
Another moment where you have to, for people who are listening or trying to go back, like I encourage everybody who hasn't seen this pay-per-view in full, like go back and watch for these moments. Like it's I like it, just like when like a Bill Burr or Chris Rock is working on new material. I like seeing wrestlers find themselves in these promos, and that's what this kind of feels like. You're seeing, like you said, you're shedding the Rocky Maivia, we're shedding all that persona. He's becoming the Rock, but I like going back and seeing these little moments because these were things I missed as a kid. So yeah, I like that he's trying to find himself. And yes, it's topical. It's what's going on in the news at the time, and I think that was just something. Maybe that was a Russo influence, something. But whatever it was, I like seeing these moments. Did it all hit perfectly? No, but I think it's good that you're getting to see The Rock kind of find himself, and they're given the time to do that. And I think that's the thing now. Like I feel like on NXT there should be a bit more promo time. Don't just throw matches together. Like give these guys a chance to go out there, say something, give them a live mic for a few minutes. You can cut it off. You can go to commercial if it's not working. But I think guys and girls should be given a little bit more freedom with their promos.
They stopped that Dark State guy from saying all the like pounding ass, eating ass jokes. Like he hasn't said one in a long time.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Well, I'm proud of that guy. I think he's a great guy. The pound ass. Um, okay, up next. Oh, well, we get to the match. It's
Yeah.
Rock versus Shamrock, and I really thought that this was a fun match. These two had really good chemistry. I think they both elevated each other's games. Rock took his game to the next level. Ken Shamrock eventually left the company. So Ken Shamrock wins. He pins him. 1, 2, 3. We have a new Intercontinental Champion. But no, because The Rock tells the ref to check Shamrock's trunks. When has the ref ever done that before? He does it for The Rock. You smell what The Rock is cooking. They find the brass knucks. The decision is reversed. Ken Shamrock goes nuts. I really enjoyed this. These guys had a fun little feud, and this was a good. This was a good match for the middle of the show. I enjoyed this match. Kyle, your thoughts?
I thought it was a good match. It was a creative ending. Because I remember that the Rock was still Intercontinental Champion, but I forgot how. So to do the brass knuckles thing and then the referee actually listening and checking, it's not really something that you see. I mean, it seems like something you would see more out of an Eddie Guerrero WWE match. But I always thought The Rock and Ken Shamrock had good chemistry, so I know they have a bit of a feud for 1998. But I enjoyed this one, and I hope the other ones, when we watch them, live up to the standards of that feud.
Yeah, it was fucking good. Pratik, your thoughts, brother?
Yeah, no, it's a great. I actually this match I hadn't seen but I'd seen like very little of, so it was good to go back and watch this in full. I do remember the Mania match because this is a feud that continues all the way till Mania, and yeah, it's a great feud. I know Rock has got. I believe that's why the Rock did the intro video for Shamrock's induction into TNA Impact because he said that yeah, Shamrock had some cash in the company, and they were looking for something for him to do. Like, hey, can you work with the Rock and bring him up to speed. And The Rock is grateful for that. And I think it was a great feud. It was a good coming out party for The Rock, because it's not just about promos. You have to have good angles. You have to have good feuds. Otherwise, you can't just have him, fighting random people for nothing. So I think it was him getting better with his promos and having a great angle and great feud with Shamrock. And because at the time Shamrock was seen as this big main eventer guy. I mean, literally in the last pay per view, he was fighting for the title and he almost won. The only I think disappointing thing is just we didn't really as fans who are behind Shamrock. Oh, he should be going for the title, and he's getting screwed out of this title. Now he's getting screwed out of the Intercontinental title. So for the fan of Shamrock, I could see them being a bit disappointed in that. But other than that, the matches were fine. I like the shit with the referee. I mean, he's going. You're seeing his. Eventual progressive, like you're just seeing his frustration building and building because he gets screwed out of this title. So yeah, he's gonna go nuts. We kind of get behind that. So yeah, good way to kind of keep this feud going. I think it was a good angle that leads into bigger matches. So yeah, it's fine. Times on it, it wasn't. I think it was about 10 minutes too. Again, not that long. You're not gonna give them a 20-minute match when you have to do another match later. So I like that. Again, Vince is being really mindful of time and keeping the audience wanting more, building the story. Oh, you have to wait and see what happens on Raw. Like I think there is something to shorter matches so that you can extend the story and actually keep people invested. So yeah, overall it's fine. Good place on the card.
Yes, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Now we get to uh, I don't know. First of all, Los Barricas beat up Skiller 8 Ball because they think it was Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it's not. Who cares about all these guys can just drop dead. Now they go to the video package where the Legion of Doom gets the shit beat out of them. I will say this. Say a lot about what they did with Goldberg or John Cena, but I think if they had done something this bad, where they're left drooling on the canvas, Cena or Goldberg, I think people would have been really livid. I think people no, nobody wanted to see. I understand you got to get DX over New Age Outlaws. Nobody wanted to see that. No, nobody wanted to see the Legion of Doom get beaten half to death, except for Vince, because for whatever reason he didn't like him. So, but now the Legion of Doom is back, and they're gonna have a match. And you would think that this is the Legion of Doom. You would think they would go in there like killers, but they just have a standard tag match, even though these guys destroyed them. The Outlaws caused disqualification, beat them up with chairs. They never, once the Legion of Doom feud ends, they never pushed the New Age Outlaws as like these fucking badasses who just beat the shit out of everybody. Again, they kind of become like more like cheaters or something. And it's just weird seeing these guys who, especially Road Dogg, who's like a big fat slob now, just beating the shit out of the Legion of Doom. But look, it worked. The New Age Outlaws are one of the biggest tag teams of all time, and Road Dogg is now the head writer of SmackDown, which is why the show stinks. So and Billy Gunn is still like stealing Tony Khan's money. So it all worked out for these guys. But it's fine. It's just even now, I'm like, you still had more to get out of the Legion of Doom as badasses, and maybe the reason why they're doing this is Hawk's drug problems are just so out of control. But if that's the case, then just fire them. But I don't know. It was what it was. It's fine. I enjoyed it. What'd you think, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Legion of Doom, like you said, if it's the drug issues, I understand pushing them down, but it feels like a team that like if they did this in 2025, they would be blue checks talking about it till the cows come home about how the treatment of Legion of Doom are terrible, and then they should go to AEW and fight FTR and all this other stuff. But I think you're also right about the Outlaws. They were like they did get presented as like these tough, badass dudes and cool dudes because they used to have like the South Park shirts and things like that. And then once they became like second DX, it was all about the catchphrases and jokes and silliness. And you never took Road Dogg seriously again. Billy Gunn had a couple of almost serious moments that never panned out, but the Road Dogg was never taken seriously again. He was just a white guy in dreads. But for, but he yeah, the match was fine. It could have been better. And I know LOD goes away for a bit and becomes LOD 2000, which is even worse. But I wish they had a better run. I wish like their 90s their return was better. But what can you do?
Yeah, what can you
Good for
do?
the Outlaws at least.
Critique your thoughts, brother.
Again, just yeah, like good for the Outlaws. I do remember the Outlaws as a kid. I remember them being badasses, and you have to build people up as badasses to make people think that they're badasses. So yes, while it's a shame for the Legion of Doom, I think yeah we could have built them a bit better and then given them that win, or maybe saved it for like Mania. But again, this is the Royal Rumble. It is a big four pay per view. It's not like they just did them. They didn't just make them look like idiots on Raw or Shotgun Saturday Night. It is a big pay per view match that they're taking a big loss on, and it does elevate the New Age Outlaws. And yeah, I mean, because I mean, like Billy Gunn he's in still an amazing shape, and it is a shame that he never really got a big singles push. I know at one point there were rumors in 2000 that he was going to be Austin's attacker, and that would have led to a big main event push, but he never really got that main event push, and I think he was athletically sound. I think he could have done some good stuff. And yeah, Road Dogg was always just the talker, the shit talker, the dreads guy, half rapping, half. I think he was with Ron Killings at one point. They had like a
Getting
rap duo.
rowdy.
Getting rowdy,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, he was always. I mean, he was very entertaining. I remember enjoying him as a kid. But yeah, this is there. You're seeing again the seeds, like we talked about. Like you're seeing the seeds of the different Attitude Era players. Like this is kind of their big moments, on the show. They had a big moment. They got to beat the Legion of Doom. So you're seeing like all these major players of the Attitude Era starting to find their form, starting to get the big moments. And so yeah, good for them. I don't think the match was too long, which was fine. I think again, times are good. We're not dragging this out. And yeah, again, a good like kind of hey, we're gonna make some moments, give people some shine on the Royal Rumble. So yeah, I didn't have a problem with it.
All right. Well, I personally think the Legion of Doom should have won all the belts and unified every single one, all across all three companies. It would have been much better.
That could have been interesting, actually. That's an interesting idea. Like have them be the big unifiers, because they've been in every different company.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Here we go. The Royal Rumble time. First of all, Mildred Bowers won Stone Cold's pickup truck. Um, she lived till 103. Oh wow. Okay. So this was an old woman, so she won. I love the fact that this old woman uh won. First of all, put in for the pickup truck and won it. So that's pretty funny. So that's a real human being that won.
For
All right,
her.
that's the 30-man Royal Rumble match, and I really think that this Rumble match is a Pratiki. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I really think that this Rumble match, it's very much a turning point, and it's very much about. I think this match, Vince gives everyone a chance to stand out. Prove me wrong, except for Tom Brandy. Prove me wrong. Show me what you got. And I think what's really telling is usually lately now when they get to like the end of the match, like the final, there's not that many people in the ring. There's a ton of people in the ring because I think Vince is basically saying, Henry Godwin, you have a chance to step up. Savio Vega, I need you guys to start stepping up. And some people did. You could Kama Mustafa became the Godfather. Too Cool steps up, even though they're not in this match. But there is an opportunity throughout this match, saying to people, "Step up, give me what you got." I mean, and like the Rock's four, then the Headbanger Mosh, Steve Black, and Blackjack Bradshaw come out, and on the surface you're like, oh my god, there's nobody in this match, but no, it's like this is what I've got to work with. I need you guys to step up, and that's what I feel like was happening throughout the match. And the two people who I think really delivered on that were Rock and Mankind. I think that they really stepped up. Terry Funk, Terry Funk coming out number one helped this match out tremendously. If it was Mosh and Bradshaw, I don't think it would have, but Terry Funk basically guides the first half of this match. There's a lot of highlights here. Owen Hart comes out. I guess he was feuding with Jeff Jarrett. I don't know how it came from Shawn Michaels to Jeff Jarrett, and then fucking Triple H takes him out even though he's injured. So Owen Hart was like an idiot. Um, Mankind coming back as three different characters was a lot of fun. I got a really big kick out of that. I almost feel like they should do that with Jeff Hardy this year, where he's Jeff Hardy and Willow Wisp. That would be hilarious. The Nation actually fighting each other was kind of fun. Reminds me of Demolition, but the story throughout is The Rock. The Rock is just selling. The Rock is working with everyone, and at the end of it, it comes down to Farouk, Rock, Dude Love, and Farouk, Rock, Dude, and Austin. And Austin wins. And I also think Austin feels more comfortable in the ring during this match. It seems like the ring rust is gone. He's doing his thing. He's wrestling. I thought this was a very good Rumble. And again, I think this was a test ground. Right now, there's nobody over, and they need to get people over. And I think at this point in history, Mosh, you show me something, I'm gonna push you. Henry Godwin, you show me something, I'm gonna push you. And they didn't because they're losers. But The Rock did, and look where we are. And so I really enjoyed this match. This it was a good. On the surface, you read the lineup, you're like, oh, there's not that many stars on it. But I think everyone was in there with something to prove, and I enjoyed it. Kyle, your thoughts?
No, I enjoyed it as well. I do think it was kind of like a proving ground match, but I mean, only a few people did it, I guess. It's also a little hard when you have your planned times or whatever. But I think it was interesting. The faces of Foley is something I've loved since the first time I saw it. I thought that
Yeah,
was beautifully done. My only thing was that me being a wrist tape nerd is Mankind having the white wrist tape instead of the black wrist tape, but I will cut him some grace. He got to do three costume changes a night. He's not taking off wrist tape to put it back on. But I remember being like, the Mankind doesn't wear white, he wears the black wrist tape. It's kind of messing with my head as a kid. But outside of that, that was great. The Rock had an incredible showing from being number four to the final person to get eliminated. That's a huge step. It shows that they really, really had some they really wanted to give him like that push. Farouk also still being in there, not just being a nation member, but also showed him in the final four, still a key player, which was nice because I know after a while he just kind of falls down before he gets into the APA and that rejuvenates his career. Tom Brandy dubbed over music for whatever reason. I don't know why, but he comes out to a theme song that Shannon Moore used to use very briefly before he became like an MFer. It's the most random fact of the day if you want to keep that in your brain. But overall, good Rumble. I think it was one of those Rumbles that you knew like Mosh or Bradshaw wasn't gonna win. Although it was kind of funny to have Bradshaw see the word BJ on the back of his ass. I know what man stands for, but still funny. Yeah, good Rumble, good Rumble. Oh, I was upset about Owen Hart. I wanted Owen Hart to have a better showing. He did not. I don't know why anything Jeff Jarrett touches just does not work out, especially when we've been watching. Jeff Jarrett screwing that up for him in his weirdly colorful Aztec outfits, and then Triple H. I think they didn't know what to do with Owen Hart. Like you're gonna feud with these people at the same time when Owen Hart could have easily been in one of those Final Fours or Final Fives or something like that. And they didn't want to do it. Maybe they didn't want to remind people of Brett. I don't know. But he was also him coming out like, "Yay!" I was like, "Are you like mad? Like, like, why are you happy again?" Like that was your whole thing. But outside of that, fun Rumble, I enjoyed it.
yeah, it's like the Owen Hart thing is very weird because I feel like they wanted him back and they promised him a push and then they didn't do it. Part of me thinks Shawn Michaels was like, I'm not going to give him shit if we wrestle. I remember hearing, and again, I wasn't in the know, I wasn't reading the dirt sheets yet in early '98, but I remember that the plan was for after WrestleMania 14 was for Shawn and Owen to have a long fucking feud, like throughout the summer.
Hmm.
And we'll get into this main event, but part of me thinks it's one of the reasons why Shawn Michaels got injured because I don't think he wanted to help out Owen at all. And I don't know. I don't know what the Owen thing, but maybe Vince already knew that he was going to kill him one day. So I don't
All right, don't say that.
Ooh.
know.
Oh, so under no, but yeah, I wish it went better for Owen. I'm just gonna and leave it there.
Steve, you okay? Did Vince kill you as well? Where are you at, Pratik?
I'm here. I'm here. No, Vince didn't get me yet. I hope not. I just don't want one of those colored dildos that he names after the wrestlers. Ugh, that's too much. Yeah, no, I enjoyed the Rumble. Again, we're seeing like everybody's kind of having these moments. I like I we talked about pacing on this show a lot. Like I've been to minus this past year's Rumble. I've been to the last three Rumbles live in person, and it felt like the men's Rumbles. There would just be because it was the last match of the night. It just felt like in some ways it would be rushed, or you'd have these like all these guys in the ring around like 10 or 12, and then all of a sudden just these mass eliminations that just felt like people weren't like getting these big moments before they were eliminated, whereas back in the day these attitude era rumbles, like you're seeing guys like, hey, okay, if you show me something in this, maybe you'll get a chance, like giving people guys a chance to, I think the word is like shine. I think that's what they use in the backstage lingo, like, oh, you're gonna get a moment to shine, like having these meaningful moments, having these meaningful like entrances into the Rumble, and I just feel like it gave the audience a chance to like, oh, get behind somebody in the Rumble, like, oh, maybe Ahmed Johnson. Well, I don't want Ahmed Johnson, but I'm just using him as an example. Like, oh, maybe this guy might have a chance.
Sorry to
Whereas
tell you, he looked terrible. My goodness, Ahmed looked awful. What a fall from grace.
he did, yeah, he did. I remember like because I remember I used to play him in Warzone a lot, or play against him. I didn't like him, but I remember like fighting against him a lot. Yeah, no. I'm glad to see though. I think you talked about Farouk. Yeah, I'm glad Farouk got a Final Four. Kind of a good showing in there. Again, the stuff. I mean, yeah. To me, the standouts were Mankind for sure, and then The Rock. People forget how long he was in the match. I mean, he literally was kind of after I think Funk. Like he was. I think him and Funk had kind of the longest times in the Rumble. But yeah, I was surprised how long Terry Funk was in. Well, I forget what his name was. Chainsaw Charlie or whatever at the time. Although you saw Ross like there'd be a bunch of allusions to him calling him Terry Funk by Jim Ross. Yeah, no, it was just you got to see different moments from people. I actually enjoyed the way they started. I didn't mind like using weapons up top. It was just something different. I like the way they're taking, again, we talked about like, the creative back then was open to taking let's try this. If it doesn't work, fine, whatever, we won't have to do it next year. But they took some different risks. They were competing with I think competition leads to more risk taking because they're like, well, let's try it and see if it works. And yeah, I like the way the Rumble started, good pacing. Everybody got a moment. The jobbers were whatever, but Bradshaw, who was doing like the cowboy character, like people had their personas, but they weren't exactly the personas that they would become in the agitator. But you're seeing shades of everybody. And you got to see Shamrock come back, and you got to see the feuds that were going on earlier in the show. They're having a bit more moments now in the Rumble. So again, like it worked out great. Yeah, and then Austin just comes in and just starts, kicking ass and taking names. Yeah, would I have liked more from Owen Hart? Sure, I know. I mean, storyline, it would make sense when Austin wins the title. You have the guy who, almost crippled you. Like, hey, that would be an easy feud to do with Owen. I think Owen Austin would have been good, but I know Austin didn't want to work with them after the injury, and that's totally understandable. But I think storyline wise, there was so much they could have done with Owen that they really didn't. I think the Triple H feud kind of makes sense because of the Shawn Michaels Bret Hart allegiance, whatever you want to go, not their allegiance, but their feud. You're kind of building off of that. I do remember seeing Mike Tyson getting freaked out by the random attack on Oh, and I can't tell if like the feud started from that or they must have been feuding on Raw before that. But yeah, Tyson really got invested in Owen Hart's beatdown, so that was a fun little moment. But yeah, again, I think if WWE can take a page, like maybe go back and watch some of these Rumbles so that they can, I think this would be a perfect year to kind of, hey, give new guys maybe a chance. Like, okay, maybe if you do something, we'll work on it. Maybe you could kind of play with feuds or see like, hey, see if these two guys, or girls are fighting each other. And maybe the crowd, if that's into it, then you could lead that into an angle for Mania or something. Use the Rumble as a testing ground more than just a showcase of the 2 3 stars you have. I think that's something that they did back in the Attitude Era that they could take a page from that and do it now. So hopefully they do that this year. We'll see.
They're not gonna do that. They're gonna have Jey Uso walk out, eliminate 5 people, and then eat for sure.
I just
And
read
then
they're in Saudi Arabia. I feel so bad for the women. They're gonna have all the long sleeve,
Oh,
sweaty
and the heat.
gear.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. It's gonna be like 2 p.m. for us. These poor ladies.
this,
They're
I
little
predict
like Power Rangers.
she's gonna win.
It's morphin time.
All right, let's get to the main event. First of all, Mike Tyson telling everybody he loves Cold Stone, and then he says,
He,
I love it. I love that he
he
calls
did
him
call him
Cold.
Cold Stone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it. It's better. I'm sorry. People like make fun of it still. No, it's better. It's more real. It's more real. It's what fucking. You can't remember half. I remember when I got back into wrestling. What was the Gnome Noir? Whatever. I kept calling Nomi. I don't know. Like you can't. Like, and
He
then he calls Shawn Michaels a young up and comer. But
he had a good run, Noam Door.
he's
He's
trying
still
to.
around. He just keeps getting hurt.
I
When
know.
they had the metaphor gimmick, that was fun.
Oh yeah.
I think at this point, though, you got to put him on the main roster at Sink or Swim now. So
I
um,
mean,
he calls Shawn Michaels a young up and comer, which I thought was funny. And again, look, he's trying. He's trying to be like a happy fan, right? What do you want him to do? Fucking start spewing Shawn Michaels statistics for the last 5 years? Like, fucking, Shawn Michaels is a young up and comer. He's up and coming into the unemployment line. All right. So the match. The match is good, but I'm gonna say this. So the spot where Shawn Michaels get injured, Undertaker back body drops him. He falls out the ring. His back hits the coffin. Remember this is a casket match. The casket, whatever. I don't think he got hurt. I really don't think he got hurt. I think that he knew that he wasn't working as the champ. He knew they were going to cycle him down. He saw what The Rock was rapidly becoming. He saw what Austin already was. He saw that The Godfather had his hose, and he took he used that bump as an excuse to get the fuck. I mean, Kane, the pop for Kane when he comes out. I keep forget every time Kane walks out. Kane's only been around for 3 months. He hasn't really wrestled. All the pops for Kane is fucking insane at the end of this match. So Kane's over. Eh, I think Shawn Michaels read the tea leaves and he's like, I am not. I'm gonna sit at home and collect a fucking check. Fuck it. My back hurts. And I think he bullshitted. I don't think his back was ever hurt. There are rumors out there that Shawn Michaels was never injured, and every now and then he would wrestle on indies in a full body suit to stay in ring shape in case he did decide to go back. But I think basically Shawn Michaels took a paid 5 year vacation. That's what I think. I don't think he was ever hurt. The match is good. It's not as good as the other matches. The finish is kind of bullshit. It reminds me a lot of Royal Rumble '94. But I will say, however, Kane's running and the pop it gets. I used to think it didn't work as a kid, but when I heard that pop for Kane and what Kane becomes, I'm like, yeah, you know what? It fucking worked. And they took it to the next level with Undertaker being put in the coffin and burned to death, which he survives. We should retry that again, see if he can survive it now. But hey, come on, Kyle. How could you say that? But yeah, I thought this was a fine match. I didn't think it was the greatest, but it was a fine match. And the ending, although derivative, listen, they got people hyped. We're building WrestleMania 14, and they got people hyped for Kane. So all in all, I enjoyed it, but I think Shawn Michaels is full of shit. Kyle, what do you think?
Nah, I was shocked when I saw the match again. I remember I said it earlier. My revisionist history of it is he takes that bump and he's done. Like he's just out. And to watch him put on that full match, maybe it's adrenaline, maybe it's like a Ricky Steamboat situation where Steamboat you do like the little light bump, or Kevin Owens you do the light bump, and then that's what like does you in, maybe. But we also know Shawn Michaels at the time had a lot going on, big ass ego. So it could. It's a plausible theory because I did see something a few weeks ago that like right before they bought WCW, when he got kicked out of like the Raw, when he got like too drunk in like 2001, he got kicked. They kicked him out of a Raw for then like him and Triple H had a falling out. I think he said something about his back feeling like really really good, like he was gonna go over to WCW, but then WCW got bought like a week later, and he quickly changed his tune. So it is a plausible theory that he was just like, I'm done. I'm gonna sit at home. But I feel like the doctor, somebody should be smarter than that to know that his back is not that hurt. I don't want to question anyone's medical, but
He went to his own doctors. He refused. Apparently, when he didn't want to wrestle at No Way Out, they wanted him to go to one of their doctors, and he goes, "No, I went to my own doctor, and I'm hurt."
oh,
So
that adds to the theory then. If you don't want to get checked out by the WWE physician, or maybe he knows WWE physicians are gonna make him work anyway. Um, But the match itself, the match was fine. The match was fine. The Kane part is definitely the best part. Those fans wanted Undertaker and Kane together, like from jump. They loved Kane. Kane just gets these moments in his career where he is like the hottest thing, and like then shit happens. But he has several moments where he's the hottest thing. It's funny that he goes for the pyro and the pyro doesn't come out, and he's just like fuck it, and he just punches the Undertaker, which I thought was
I
funny. But it was just like it was needed. The turn was needed. The double turn I think helped because it was getting a little boring to see him like come out Undertaker not want to fight him. Them briefly on the same side also just showed you that like fans are gonna want this in a couple years for them to be on the same side again, and we get it like later in '98. But good turn, good send off for the Undertaker because I remember when he comes back and how hot that is. No pun intended. So I mean they're doing everything right with Kane at that moment. But yeah, match was fine. Kane moment stole the show, stole the match at least.
okay, yeah. And Pratik, your thoughts?
again, like yeah, like Kane between the Hell in a Cell and this coffin match, like Kane, it does so much for Kane. Again, like yeah, I remember being mesmerized by Kane. I was like, who is this guy? And then when he actually starts to, wrestle, like I loved his choke slam even more than the Undertaker's at some point. Like he was this like huge guy who like he could move so well, and you're seeing the crowd get behind him. Politically later in life, yeah, I'm not a fan of any of that stuff, but at the time I'm like, who's this fucking beast? So yeah, it was good for the Kane moment. I had never watched this match in full, so it was good to see it. Certainly, I don't think anything can top the Hell in a Cell match, or even the Ground Zero match. Like that was, I think, paced a little bit better than this. I think there were a couple moments. I think Undertaker was gassed at some points too. But it was still like fine match, serviceable match. It was good. It was good for kind of you need to have a big stipulation. You can't just do Hell in a Cell again. So I think the coffin match was good, and then it led to the Kane moment, and then the ending. So yeah, great match. I Yeah, that bump does look nasty, but yes, I could also see Sean maybe exaggerating the pain. Maybe it hurt for a bit, but maybe not to the point that it was 5 years off. I know there was a lot of. I mean, as we'll get to, you'll see like Sean was having moments doing the favors for Austin, and then like apparently like Undertaker had to like sit in the back and like tape up fists, like, oh, if you don't do the job, and then like doesn't he throw like a tantrum during the press conference, later? Like he does a lot of things where you're like, yeah,
Uh,
sorry about it.
he's acting like a bitch the entire build.
Yeah, yeah. So like he's having attitude error. He's no showing pay-per-views, and then he's no showing like the press conference leading to Mania, and then he's no showing the press conference after, and tantrums and everything. So yeah, his personal life is a mess. He's in pain. I'm of the mind that maybe there is some truth to he didn't want to go down the card. He didn't want to do things that weren't main event level. Maybe the ego was getting to him, and now that Brett was gone, maybe people are realizing, oh, maybe people are reading the tea leaves that maybe Sean is the problem. It wasn't Brett, So yeah, I do think there was some exaggeration of the injury. I mean, the spot it does look nasty, but again, he wrestled. Yeah, that match is not like that. So he definitely wrestled in the pain, and but we've seen wrestlers do that before, so we'll see. But also, yeah, not trusting WWE doctors, as we learned, there are problems with WWE doctors with other people as well. So I can see the distrust. That's not a new
I
phenomenon.
don't
But
think you.
yeah, overall, in terms of this pay per view, it's a fine match. I think the crowning moment for Austin, maybe that would have worked better as the main event in some ways to like kind of show the direction of the future. But this was
They
still
have
a good.
you can't end it. You can't have Undertaker burn to death and then just have the Royal Rumble. It just would be.
The final moment of the Undertaker. Even though I think they feud at Mania like 2 months later.
Coming out Mosh. Headbanger Mosh comes out after the Undertaker burnt to death. Yay.
There's still the smoke in the arena, and there's still the. And now
Exactly.
let's start the Royal Rumble. And
Gold dust comes out.
Finkel is coughing, and there's still
Yeah.
burnt ember. I don't know. That'd be kind of funny, but yeah, no, fine match.
All right, great. Overall, I say watch the show. What do you guys think? Why you still can watch the show?
Yeah, we only have like 2 weeks. Yeah, watch the show if you can. Just keep it on a constant loop. My TV is currently on Hey Arnold which is also on a loop for whatever reason on Pluto TV. I should be putting on every pay-per-view ever. So maybe I'll start doing that. So put it on a loop and till it literally shuts off at like 3 a.m. on December 31st.
Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
ring in your new year with the Attitude Era. Keep watching these. They're a great time capsule. I think a lot of these internet wrestling fans think they have an idea what the Attitude Era is. And I think especially if you're under 30 as well. Like go back and watch it. There's moments in there that if you like somebody. Whether it's Mick Foley or Kane or Undertaker or whatever, like you need to see the moments that lead to them being big. So yeah, go back and watch it. I'm going 4 out of 5 stars.
Great. I'm going 27 out of 5. So,
How
all
else to
right,
do the four?
let's review the next 4 weeks. Next week it is Sold Out 98, Lex Luger versus Macho Man. In 2 weeks, it's No Way Out 98 with DX and Savio Vega versus Chainsaw Charlie, Cactus Jack, Steve Austin, and Owen Hart. In so that's two, yeah. And then in 3 weeks, it's Super Brawl, and that's Hulk Hogan versus Sting. And then in 4 weeks, it's Living Dangerously. I hope that's the general plan with Chris Candido and Shane Douglas versus Al Snow and Lance Storm. We'll see if that
What?
actually
It's just the main
happens.
event.
What?
What a main event.
I know, right? And they charge money for that. So, what are you guys excited for?
Super Bowl. I mean, let's see how that goes pans out again, or maybe living dangerously. Let's see how the team of Al Snow and Lance Storm.
What about you,
Wow.
excited for?
Yeah, I do want to see Super Bowl because that'll be kind of a. I don't know if I'm excited about it, but I'm intrigued by it. I'm intrigued by Super Bowl, and then yeah, I've never seen the No Way Out main event properly. I've only seen highlights of it, so that's an interesting tag team combination. So that'll be interesting to see.
Well, that's our tentative plan. And yeah, Kyle, you got anything to plug?
January 3rd, Character Select Comedy is back. Character Select has a few shows. We're gonna have January 3rd, February 7th, February 21st as of now, which is a Character Select expansion pack, usually hosted by Chris Black. He's gonna do his birthday version of that. So I don't know who's gonna be on that show. So he's a great producer, great up and coming comic. Only one of the few people that I trust to give the reins to have my IP in his hands. And then we're also in the Black Women in Comedy Festival. So we'll be doing that February 28th. And rounding it out, I feel like a WWE tour, March 7th. So we have a lot of character selects already locked in, all on sale. Pick your one to go to. Go to all of them, all on the Stan website. Please buy some tickets.
Yes, Pratik, what do you got to plug?
I got a few more shows this year. I'm supposed to be in San Diego on December 28th, but all those dates are on my website, Prateek Comedy, Prateek Comedy .com, and also my Instagram, which is the same thing, Prateek Comedy. Yeah, you can find all my stuff on Instagram and website. And again, keep supporting you guys and keep supporting live comedy and live wrestling and all that good stuff.
Yes. And as for me, subscribe to the podcast, show us some love, and going to be a bumpy ride into 2026, but we're going to see what we can do. But we will definitely see you next week. And definitely after Christmas, you're going to want to sell out or sold out. We'll see you then. See you for sold out. Thank you.